"25 Most Amazing Ancient Ruins of the World." Hello and welcome to our channel, where we explore the most amazing places on Earth. Today, we are going to take you on a journey through time and space, and show you 25 of the most amazing ancient ruins of the world. These are the remnants of civilizations that once flourished, but now are lost to history. Some of them are mysterious, some of them are majestic, and some of them are just mind-blowing. Let's get started. Number 25, Ayutthaya, Thailand. Our first stop is Ayutthaya, the former capital of the Kingdom of Siam, which ruled over most of Southeast Asia from the 14th to the 18th century. Ayutthaya was a prosperous and cosmopolitan city, with palaces, temples, monasteries, and markets. It was also a center of trade and diplomacy, attracting merchants and envoys from all over the world. However, in 1767, the city was sacked and burned by the Burmese army, and most of its buildings were destroyed. Today, you can still see the ruins of Ayutthaya, scattered across an island in the Chao Phraya River. You can admire the elegant stupas, the giant Buddha statues, and the intricate carvings that testify to the glory of this ancient city. Number 24, Stonehenge, England. Next, we travel to England, where we find one of the most iconic and mysterious ancient monuments in the world, Stonehenge. Stonehenge is a circle of massive stones, some weighing up to 25 tons, that stand on a plain in Wiltshire. The stones were erected around 2500 BC, but their purpose and meaning are still unknown. Some theories suggest that Stonehenge was a temple, a burial site, an astronomical observatory, or a ritual center. Whatever it was, it must have been important, as the stones were transported from hundreds of kilometers away, using sophisticated engineering techniques. Stonehenge is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and attracts millions of visitors every year, especially during the summer and winter solstices, when the sun aligns with the stones. Number 23, Mesa Verde, USA. From England, we fly across the Atlantic Ocean to the USA, where we visit Mesa Verde, a national park in Colorado that preserves the heritage of the ancestral Puebloans. These were a Native American people who lived in the region from the 6th to the 13th century. They built elaborate stone villages on the cliffs and mesas of the area, using natural resources and adapting to the environment. Some of the most impressive structures are the Cliff Palace, which has over 150 rooms and 23 kivas, and the Balcony House, which can only be accessed by climbing a ladder and crawling through a tunnel. The ancestral Puebloans left Mesa Verde around the 13th century, for reasons that are still unclear. They migrated to other parts of the southwest, where their descendants still live today. Number 22, Sigiriya, Sri Lanka. We continue our journey to Sri Lanka, where we find Sigiriya, a stunning rock fortress that rises 200 meters above the surrounding jungle. Sigiriya was built in the 5th century by King Kasyapa, who wanted to create a secure and luxurious palace for himself. He also decorated the rock with colorful frescoes of beautiful women, and carved a giant lion's head at the entrance. Sigiriya was not only a palace, but also a religious and cultural center, with gardens, pools, fountains, and caves. It had modern creature comforts such as a bathhouse and even private swimming pools. More famously, the enormous fortification saw the last stand of the Jewish revolt who chose death over a life of Roman slavery. Other must-see sites include the Temple of the Warriors, the Maya Ball Court, the Wall of Skulls, and the sacred cenote that was once a site of human sacrifice. As Chichen Itza is always crowded, it's best in the early morning or just before closing. Number 21, Tulum, Mexico. Tulum is a Maya city that was built on the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The city was one of the last to be inhabited by the Maya, and reached its peak between the 13th and 15th centuries. Tulum was a port and a trading center, as well as a religious and ceremonial site. The city is surrounded by a wall, and has several impressive buildings, such as the Castillo, the Temple of the Frescoes, and the Temple of the Descending God. Tulum is also famous for its location, as it offers a stunning view of the Caribbean Sea and the white sand beach. Number 20. Acropolis, Greece. From Mexico, we fly to Greece, where we find the Acropolis, the ancient citadel of Athens. The Acropolis is a symbol of the glory and wisdom of the ancient Greeks, who built magnificent temples and monuments on the hilltop. The most famous of these is the Parthenon, a temple dedicated to the goddess Athena, the patron of the city. The Parthenon is considered a masterpiece of classical architecture, with its elegant proportions, graceful columns, and elaborate sculptures. The Acropolis also houses other important buildings, such as the Erechtheion, the Propylaea, and the Temple of Athena Nike. The Acropolis is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a source of inspiration for art, culture, and democracy. As the Parthenon stands in the beating sun, it's best visited early in the morning or late at night. This is also when it is least crowded. Number 19. Bagan, Myanmar. Next, we travel to Myanmar, where we find Bagan, an ancient city that was the capital of the pagan kingdom from the 9th to the 13th century. Bagan was a religious and cultural center, where over 10,000 Buddhist temples, pagodas, and monasteries were built. Today, only about 2,000 of them remain, but they still create a breathtaking sight, especially at sunrise and sunset, when the sky is filled with colors and hot air balloons. Some of the most notable temples are the Ananda Temple, which has 4 standing Buddha statues, the Dhammayangyi Temple, which is the largest and most massive, and the Shwesinda Pagoda, which offers panoramic views of the plain. A hot air balloon ride over Bagan is a worthy addition to the bucket list. Number 18. Karnak, Egypt. From Myanmar, we fly to Egypt, where we find Karnak, a complex of temples and monuments that was the main place of worship of the ancient Egyptians. Karnak was dedicated to the god Amun-Ra, and his consort Mut, and their son Khonsu. The complex covers an area of over 200 hectares, and consists of 4 main parts, of which only the largest, the precinct of Amun-Ra, is open to the public. The most impressive feature of Karnak is the hypostyle hall, which has 134 massive columns that support a roof that is 25 meters high. The columns are decorated with hieroglyphs and reliefs that depict the history and mythology of the ancient Egyptians. Karnak also has obelisks, statues, pylons, and a sacred lake, where rituals and ceremonies were performed. Karnak is the second most visited site in Egypt, after the pyramids of Giza. Number 17. Borobudur, Indonesia. We stay in Asia and visit Borobudur, a Buddhist temple that is located in central Java, Indonesia. Borobudur was built in the 9th century, and is the largest and most complete Buddhist monument in the world. It is designed as a mandala, a symbolic representation of the universe, and consists of 9 stacked platforms, topped by a central dome. The temple is decorated with over 2,600 relief panels and 504 Buddha statues, that illustrate the teachings and life of the Buddha. Borobudur is also a pilgrimage site, where Buddhists follow a path that leads them from the base to the top, passing through 3 levels of enlightenment: the world of desire, the world of forms, and the world of formlessness. Borobudur is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a popular destination for tourists and pilgrims alike. Number 16. Teotihuacan, Mexico. We return to Mexico, where we find Teotihuacan, an ancient city that was one of the largest and most influential in Mesoamerica. Teotihuacan was founded around the 1st century BC, and reached its peak around the 6th century AD, when it had a population of over 100,000 people. The city was known for its monumental architecture, such as the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, and the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, which were aligned along a central avenue called the Avenue of the Dead. The city also had palaces, markets, workshops, and residential complexes that show the social and economic organization of the society. The city was abandoned around the 8th century AD, for reasons that are still unknown. The name Teotihuacan means, the place where the gods were created, in Nahuatl, the language of the Aztecs, who revered the city as a sacred site. Number 15. Moai Statues, Easter Island. From Mexico, we fly to Easter Island, a remote island in the Pacific Ocean that belongs to Chile. Easter Island is famous for its Moai statues, giant stone figures that were carved by the Rapa Nui people between the 13th and 16th centuries. There are over 900 Moai statues on the island, some weighing up to 80 tons, and some measuring up to 10 meters tall. The statues represent the ancestors of the Rapa Nui, and were placed on ceremonial platforms called Ahu, facing inland. The statues were also believed to have a spiritual power called mana, that could benefit the people and the land. The Moai statues are a mystery, as no one knows how they were transported and erected, or why they were abandoned. Some theories suggest that the Rapa Nui suffered a collapse due to environmental degradation, overpopulation, or external contact. Number 14, Colosseum, Italy. Next, we travel to Italy, where we find the Colosseum, an ancient gladiator arena. Unveiled in 80 AD, the 50,000-seater amphitheater was used for staging various events. These included animal fights and bloodthirsty gladiator contests where contestants would fight to the death. The top level once supported an enormous awning that sheltered spectators from the elements. Today, you can explore the Colosseum itself or combine it with a visit to the nearby Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. Number 13, Great Wall of China, China. From Italy, we fly to China, where we find the Great Wall of China, a massive fortification that stretches over 21,000 kilometers. The wall was built over several dynasties, from the 7th century BC to the 17th century AD, to protect China from invaders and unify the empire. The wall is not a single continuous structure, but a series of walls, towers, and gates that follow the natural terrain of mountains, valleys, and rivers. The wall is also a cultural and historical symbol, as it reflects the engineering, art, and military achievements of the Chinese civilization. Number 12, Pyramids of Giza, Egypt. We stay in Africa and visit the Pyramids of Giza, the oldest and largest of the ancient Egyptian pyramids. The pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs and their consorts, who ruled over Egypt from the 26th to the 23rd century BC. The pyramids are made of millions of stone blocks, some weighing up to 15 tons, that were cut, transported, and stacked with remarkable precision and skill. The largest and most famous of the pyramids is the Great Pyramid of Khufu, which is the only surviving wonder of the ancient world. The pyramids are also surrounded by other monuments, such as the Sphinx, a mythical creature with a lion's body and a human's head, and the Solar Boat Museum, which displays a wooden vessel that was buried with the pharaoh. Number 11, Petra, Jordan. Next, we travel to Jordan, where we find Petra, an ancient desert town that was carved out of pink sandstone cliffs by nomads thousands of years ago. Located in a remote valley, Petra was once a thriving trade hub, connecting the Silk Road and the Spice Route. Petra was also a cultural and religious center, with temples, tombs, theaters, and markets. The most famous and impressive structure in Petra is the Treasury, a monumental facade that was featured in the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The Treasury is only one of the many wonders that await you in Petra, as you explore the hidden city and its secrets. Number 10, Machu Picchu, Peru. From Jordan, we fly to Peru, where we find Machu Picchu, a stunning Inca citadel that sits on a mountain ridge above the Sacred Valley. Machu Picchu was built in the 15th century, and was probably a royal estate or a religious site. The city was abandoned shortly after the Spanish conquest, and remained unknown to the outside world until 1911, when it was rediscovered by the explorer Hiram Bingham. Machu Picchu is a marvel of engineering and architecture, as it blends harmoniously with the natural landscape. The city has over 200 buildings, including temples, palaces, terraces, and fountains, that showcase the Incas' mastery of stone carving, astronomy, and hydraulics. Number 9, Angkor Wat, Cambodia. From Peru, we fly to Cambodia, where we find Angkor Wat, a majestic temple complex that was the heart of the Khmer Empire. Angkor Wat was built in the 12th century by King Suryavarman II, and was originally a Hindu temple dedicated to Vishnu, but later became a Buddhist shrine. Angkor Wat is the largest religious monument in the world, covering an area of over 160 hectares. The temple is famous for its intricate bas-reliefs, depicting scenes from Hindu and Buddhist mythology, as well as historical events. Angkor Wat is also known for its architectural harmony and balance, as it reflects the cosmic order and the Hindu concept of the universe. Angkor Wat is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a national symbol of Cambodia. Number 8, Persepolis, Iran. Next, we travel to Iran, where we find Persepolis, an ancient city that was the ceremonial capital of the Achaemenid Empire. Persepolis was founded by King Darius I in the 6th century BC, and was a showcase of the empire's wealth, power, and culture. The city was composed of palaces, halls, gardens, and sculptures that displayed the art and craftsmanship of the various peoples under the Persian rule. The city was also a place of celebration, where kings received tribute and hosted festivals. Persepolis was destroyed by Alexander the Great in 330 BC, as a revenge for the burning of Athens by the Persians. Today, you can still see the ruins of Persepolis, and admire the glory and splendor of the ancient Persian civilization. Number 7. Tikal, Guatemala. We return to Central America, where we find Tikal, an ancient Maya city that was one of the most powerful and influential in the region. Tikal was inhabited from the 6th century BC to the 10th century AD, and reached its peak around the 8th century AD, when it had a population of over 100,000 people. The city was a political, economic, and religious center, with temples, palaces, plazas, and pyramids that dominated the surrounding rainforest. The city was also a hub of art, science, and astronomy, as evidenced by the stelae, murals, and hieroglyphs that record the history and achievements of the Maya rulers. Tikal was abandoned around the 10th century AD, due to unknown reasons. The city was rediscovered in the 19th century, and is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a popular tourist attraction. Number 6. Hagia Sophia, Turkey. From Guatemala, we fly to Turkey, where we find Hagia Sophia, a magnificent building that was once a church, then a mosque, and now a museum. Hagia Sophia was built in the 6th century by the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, and was the largest and most splendid church in the Christian world. The building is famous for its massive dome, which is 31 meters in diameter, and rests on 4 pendentives, a revolutionary engineering technique at the time. The building is also decorated with mosaics, marble, and gold, that reflect the artistic and religious traditions of both Christianity and Islam. Hagia Sophia was converted into a mosque in 1453, when the Ottoman Turks conquered Constantinople, and added minarets, a mihrab, and a minbar. In 1935, the building was secularized and turned into a museum, where visitors can admire the beauty and history of this architectural masterpiece. Number 5. Taj Mahal, India. Next, we travel to India, where we find the Taj Mahal, a stunning mausoleum that was built by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan for his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. The Taj Mahal was completed in 1648, after 22 years of construction, and involved over 20,000 workers and craftsmen. The Taj Mahal is considered a masterpiece of Islamic art and architecture, as it combines elements from Persian, Turkish, and Indian styles. The Taj Mahal is made of white marble, that changes color depending on the time of the day and the season. The Taj Mahal is also adorned with calligraphy, floral patterns, and precious stones, that create a symmetrical and harmonious design. The Taj Mahal is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a symbol of love and devotion. Number 4. Palmyra, Syria. From India, we fly to Syria, where we find Palmyra, an ancient city that was a crossroads of civilizations and cultures. Palmyra was founded in the 3rd millennium BC, and became a wealthy and powerful city under the Roman Empire. Palmyra was known for its distinctive fusion of Greco-Roman and Persian architecture, art, and religion. The city had impressive monuments, such as the Temple of Bel, the Arch of Triumph, and the Valley of the Tombs. The city was also the home of Zenobia, a legendary queen who rebelled against the Romans and briefly ruled over a vast territory. Palmyra was abandoned in the Middle Ages, and rediscovered in the 17th century. Unfortunately, the city was severely damaged by the Civil War and the Islamic State in recent years, and many of its treasures were lost or destroyed. Number 3. Pompei, Italy. We return to Italy, where we find Pompei, an ancient city that was buried by a volcanic eruption. Pompei was a prosperous and lively Roman town, with a population of about 20,000 people. The city had temples, theaters, baths, villas, shops, and brothels, that reflected the social and cultural life of the Romans. However, in 79 AD, the nearby Mount Vesuvius erupted, and covered the city with ash and pumice. The city was forgotten for centuries, until it was accidentally unearthed in the 18th century. Today, you can walk through the streets of Pompeii, and see the frozen scenes of the everyday life and the tragic death of its inhabitants. Number 2. Ephesus, Turkey. Ephesus was an ancient Greek city that later became a major Roman metropolis. The city was located on the coast of Asia Minor, and was a hub of commerce, culture, and religion. Ephesus was home to the Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, as well as the Library of Celsus, the theater, the Odeon, and the Basilica of St. John. Ephesus was also an important center of Christianity, as it was visited by St. Paul, St. John, and the Virgin Mary. Ephesus is one of the most complete and impressive ancient cities in the world, and a must-see for any history lover. Number 1. Terracotta Army, China. The Terracotta Army is a collection of over 8,000 life-size clay soldiers, horses, and chariots that were buried with the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, in the 3rd century BC. The army was meant to protect the emperor in his afterlife, and to display his power and glory. The army was discovered in 1974 by farmers who were digging a well, and has since become one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time. The army is remarkable for its diversity and realism, as each soldier has a unique face, hairstyle, and expression. We hope you enjoyed this video, and learned something new about the amazing ancient ruins of the world. If you did, let us know in the comments which of these places you would like to visit, or if you have any other suggestions for future videos. Also, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell for more travel videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.